The glowing screen of her smartwatch, abandoned on the nightstand, held a secret that would shatter my world into a million irreparable pieces. I never thought I'd find myself staring at a device meant to track steps and heartbeats, instead revealing a betrayal so profound it felt like a physical blow. The time was 2:17 a.m. in our Dallas home, a silence so heavy it pressed down on me, amplifying the frantic pulse in my ears. A new message notification flashed, a name I didn't recognize, followed by a snippet of text that made my blood run cold. "Couldn't wait for our weekend in Miami, babe. He'll never know." My wife Sarah was sleeping soundly beside me, oblivious to the digital evidence of her infidelity now burning a hole through my soul. What would I do with this devastating knowledge? If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from, what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation hit me first, a wave of nausea that threatened to drown me. Sarah, my wife of 10 years, the woman I'd built a life with in our quiet suburban house off Preston Road, was cheating. The smartwatch, a birthday gift from me, had become my unwitting informant. The messages scrolled, a sickening timeline of clandestine meetings, whispered promises, and a future I was clearly not a part of. My mind reeled, replaying every late night at work, every distant glance, every sudden trip. The signs once invisible now screamed at me. Her behavior had shifted subtly over the past few months. She'd become more secretive with her phone, always taking calls in another room, her voice hushed. There were new clothes, expensive perfumes, and a newfound obsession with her appearance that I, in my naive loyalty, had attributed to a desire to keep things fresh in our marriage. I remembered a receipt for a high-end boutique on Knox Street, dismissed as a splurge. Oh, it was a clue. The calls from unknown numbers that she'd quickly silence. The sudden girls' nights out that stretched into the early hours, all pieces of a puzzle I was now forced to solve. Sarah grew colder, her touch becoming a formality, her words clipped and dismissive. She'd manipulate conversations, twisting my concerns into accusations, making me feel irrational for even questioning her. "You're being paranoid, Mark," she'd say, her eyes hard. "I'm just busy with work." Her lover, a man named David, a smug-looking real estate agent from her office, seemed to revel in his untouchable status. I'd seen him once at a company picnic, his arm casually around Sarah, a look of possessive triumph in his eyes that I now understood. They thought they were clever, invincible. I felt myself breaking down. The man who had once been a confident architect, designing skyscrapers that dotted the Dallas skyline, was now a hollow shell. I'd spend nights staring at the ceiling, the betrayal a constant echo in my mind. The pain was unbearable, but beneath it, a cold, hard resolve began to form. I wouldn't confront her, not yet. I would play her game, but I would play it better. Secretly, meticulously, I began to gather proof. I installed discreet cameras in the house, capturing her hushed phone calls and hurried departures. I hired a private investigator, a quiet man named Frank, who worked out of a small office near the Dallas County Courthouse, to document her movements. He provided photos of Sarah and David at a secluded restaurant in Uptown, holding hands, laughing. He tracked them to a boutique hotel near Love Field, providing timestamps and room numbers. I even managed to clone her phone, every text, every call, every illicit photo now mirrored on my own device. The evidence mounted, a damning dossier of her deceit. My revenge would be precise, calculated, and utterly devastating. I consulted with a divorce attorney, a sharp woman named Ms. Albright, whose office overlooked the bustling streets of downtown Dallas. We discussed Texas community property laws, infidelity clauses, and the art of public exposure. I set legal traps, ensuring that every asset, every investment, every penny she thought was hers would be scrutinized. I also began to subtly leak information to mutual friends, planting seeds of doubt, letting the whispers begin. I wanted her social circle to crumble, her reputation to be shredded before she even knew what was happening. The day of reckoning arrived. It wasn't a dramatic confrontation, but a quiet, brutal unveiling in a sterile courtroom. Ms. Albright presented the evidence, the smartwatch messages, private investigators' reports, the cloned phone data, the hotel receipts. Sarah sat stunned, her arrogant facade crumbling, her face draining of color as each piece of undeniable proof was laid bare. David, her smug lover, was subpoenaed, forced to admit his involvement, his cowardice evident in his stammering testimony. The judge, a stern woman with no patience for deceit, listened impassively. The public exposure was swift and merciless. The whispers turned into shouts. Her carefully constructed image of a devoted wife and successful professional shattered. Friends distanced themselves. Colleagues looked away, and her career, once promising, imploded. The divorce settlement left her with almost nothing, her financial future in ruins. She lost the house, the car, her standing in the community. She was completely ruined, a pariah in the city she once thought she owned. I saw her once, months later, walking alone down a desolate street in Oak Cliff. Her shoulders slumped, her eyes vacant. She didn't see me, and I didn't acknowledge her. There was no triumph, no joy, just a profound emptiness. The silence that followed was colder than any winter night, a haunting echo of what was lost and what was irrevocably broken, the end.